Hey guys, Reginald Duck here, back today with another deck profile. So for today I've got my updated Shark deck list. The new support came out in the, I think it's Duels from the Deep, I think it's called. Got two new Shark cards that are both really good in the deck. Add a lot of consistency, and I've sort of changed up the build as well. So let's get into it. So for the main deck, still got the best card. I've got 3 copies of Pulsar Shark. When you can target a water monster you control, summon a fish with the same level from the deck. So you're usually going to target itself, but if you have like a 10-year something here, you're going to target that instead, because that way if you do get Ghost Ogred on this, it would still resolve and you'd summon. So 3 copies of this. Generally, you grab the right hand Shark. We are playing that now. I thought about playing the Crooked Cook, but I'm not that mean. So 3 copies of the Pulsar Shark, 3 Xyz Remora. All these cards are now searchable off the new support, by the way, so really good. You love to see this card, also you love to search it. Honestly, the hands where you have this are so much stronger. So you can detach 2 materials from an XYZ to summon this card from hand, then spec 2 fish monsters from graveyard. And so you just get, it's 1.5 Xyz on its own. So really cool. You can search it off like a weird XYZ gimmicky card, but I don't play it, so 3 of those. 3 Silent Angler. If you control a water, you can spec it from hand. You can't spec from hand for the rest of the turn. Again, just a really good extender. It's also a fish, so that comes up a lot. 3 copies of the new card, Abyss Shark. So what this does is, if you control a water, you can special it from your hand. When it's special from hand, you can add a level 3, 4 or 5 fish, which is insane. And then you're locked into waters off this one. Yeah, you're locked into waters for the rest of the turn, so you can't remake the Draco Future, but you can still do a lot. And then if you use this as the material for a number monster, you could treat it as level 3 or 4. So you could, for example, like just make this into a Stealth Kraken. So really good. It comes up a little bit that it's awkward that it's not actually a 4. It's like you can't make a Bahamut with it, but a lot of times, you know, you either use it quite early on in your combo if you have nothing, or use it as a great extender later on to make the Kraken get a search like a Remora or something. So a really cool card. This is the better of the 2 new ones, but I am playing 3 and 3 anyway, because I don't feel there's that many monsters so far. Like, you want to open most of the monsters anyway, so 3 Crystal Shark. This, you can target a water monster on the field, and then special summon this card from the hand and then halve that monster's attack. So it's kind of annoying. Sometimes you have to like have something that you're actually going to keep, like a Bahamut. You know, if you want to get to like a Toad quite early to play around Nibiru, but a lot of the times you'll just like target an extender, halve this. This locks you into Xyz for the rest of the turn, so not as big of a deal as the Abyss Shark. But so then you've got to make sure you use your instant fusion before this, basically, which you would do anyway. You tend to do that first. So then you can also treat this as a level 3 or 4 for the summon of a number monster, so it's just literally a worse Abyss Shark. The thing with this is it doesn't just summon from hand, it can also summon itself from grave. So like the right hand Shark, it does give you like a play for the turn after and the turn after that. Gets banished when it leaves the field, but obviously you're going to overlay with it, so that won't really come up. I'm playing 3, might be able to cut it to 2, but I didn't know what else to put in the deck. I wanted to see as many like starters and extenders as possible, because this deck is insane if you see a lot of them. So 3 Crystal Shark, 3 copies of 10-year Spirit Shathana. This card's really good most of the time, but if you open this and Beautiful Princess, oftentimes you can't get to the Toad before your 5th summon will come out on summon 6. So you could get Nibiru on your summon of Bahamut. It's awkward, but also it is a really great extender. So you've got to play this just first, straight away. So then that's your first summon, then you go Beautiful as your second, 3rd is Bahamut, 4th is Bahamut's effect, 5 is, sorry not Bahamut, is Buzzsaw, then Buzzsaw's effect, then make Bahamut would be 5, or you can miss out on the Buzzsaw effect and still get the, so you're losing a card, but then you actually manage to get the Toad out as your 5th summon. So it can be done, it's just a little awkward, but it is still a really great water extender. I've never used the effect. I guess it could come up if I controlled like a rare fish, but it is literally just spec from hand when you got no guys. So it's just a free half of a Bahamut. We've got 3 Beautiful Princess. Finally managed to pick up a 3rd English copy, which I had to trade for a secret rare Buster Dragon because somehow they're the same price. This card really should have had a reprint in the latest set, but it just didn't. So 3 Beautiful Princess. When it's summoned, you can banish it to spec a fish. So you almost always grab the Buzzsaw Shark. I can't really see a time when you wouldn't. If you've opened the Pulsar Shark, you just wouldn't summon this. So it's just like 3 more copies of Buzz. We've got a Lantern Shark as a one of. I don't really love this card. It can help unbreak your hands a little bit, but nothing mega really. It's just an extra fish really. And then lastly for the sharks, got 1 copy of Right Hand Shark. I found there was never anything good to actually summon off the Buzzsaw Shark. You were just getting a guy. So you might as well play this and get a guy that does something. So the monster that's made with it can't be destroyed by battle, and then if it's in the graveyard and you control no monsters, you can special summon it. So if you do get your board cleared, it sort of helps you come back like this, and then you've got a Crystal Shark, and before you know it you're rolling. So really good. Just a one of. I'm not playing the Crooked Cook, but you can do if you want. So the combo is you go Buzzsaw into this, make Crooked Cook in defence with no other cards in your field. It's unaffected by card effects and can't be destroyed by battle. So you could do it, but I'm not actually playing this at the minute. I couldn't find room. Also, with it being a fire, it was a bit awkward sometimes, so I just didn't bother. Got 3 copies of Ash. I feel that's the best hand trap at the minute. Stop Branded Fusion, stop that Sword Soul one, I can't think of what it's called. Emergence. Really good. I find I do draw a lot of hand traps in this deck, but I think that just might be my subjective sort of view. But I feel I do see a few too many hand traps, not enough monsters, like proper monsters, but there's not any more sharks to play, and there's not really any consistency cards. Like, the only way to get things searched is Abyss Shark, but if you just don't draw Abyss Shark, you just can't search. But Desires is at 2, so it's not too bad anymore. 2 copies of Effect Veiler. Again, really cool. Sold my set of ultis at Nationals, made a lot of money. Happy days. Made someone cry because they thought they were getting them. Sorry. 2 Veiler. It's basically just, I didn't know what was better, Impermanence or this, so I'm playing 2 and 2. Really cool card. It does lose a bit harder than Impermanence, like, they could cross, called by it, for example, but I still like it. Got 2 copies of Ready Fusion. It can just special summon the rare fish and also the 1 instant fusion. I'm just going to put them all together because they are exactly the same card in this sense. They're both hard ones per turn, so if you did manage to get the rare fish back in extra somehow, with a toad or something, you could possibly use both in 1 turn. In a 30-round tournament, it'd never come up, let's be honest, but it can be done. So just pay 1,000, summon a rare fish, just a free extender. 2 White Mirror. I wish this card didn't brick because I'd love to play 3, because this card's absolutely insane when it resolves. So you reborn a fish and then you get to add a fish of the same name. So for example, if you've normal summoned a Silent Angler, overlaid it with something, detached it, you can reborn it and then add another Silent Angler and just use the Angler effect in hand to summon it. Then you just got loads of value off it, and it just helps make loads of XEs. Really good card. It is hard 1 per turn, but you just don't want to draw it when you've not got enough fish to activate it. But I actually love this card. 2 Pot of Desires. Everything in the deck is pretty much 3 of, except the Right Hand Shark, but you can play without it like I used to. It doesn't matter, you just want to see more cards. You can make some insane boards, you just need extra cards. So you'd rather just get through the deck. At 2, you never really brick on it at all. 1 copy of Called by the Grave. You are comboing very hard, so you want to be able to stop, if the Ash you be tuneful, you're probably going to turn end. So you just want to be able to get rid of that and try and play through it. 2 copies of Impermanence. It's just another hand trap. Like I said with the Veiler, I'm not sure which one's better, they have different applications. This probably is better, but I do like both. So 2 Impermanence. And then lastly, I've got 3 copies of Gozen Match. You are focusing a lot more on the Stealth Kraken in this build now, because you can't actually make the Bahamut with the new Shark support. So you're always making all your opponent's monsters water, so all monsters on the field water, which then means you can just lock them in. As soon as they summon a guy, you flip this, they can only make waters, they can't even link summon, unless they're playing a water link. So then you're playing a simplified game state, so it's really easy a lot of the time, especially with the stealth Kraken, so like pop a guy and do damage, you've got a negate. So I really rate this at 3 copies. I think it's such a great blowout card, like a lot of decks just can't play through it. So that's it for the main deck. And for the extra deck, I've got 3 copies of Totally Awesome. It's a shame this card's going to get banned when Splight comes out, because this is one of my favourite cards and one of my favourite decks. Played this ever since it came out, but yeah, it's going to get banned, which is really sad. But really, really good. So you can cheat out off the Bahamut, and then when you negate something, this will send itself to graveyard. You can then you can add a water back, and you can also set the card you negated. So if that Change of Heart, you might as well steal a Change of Heart, for example. 3 copies. The fact it floats into like a Buzzsaw or anything when it dies is really good. Kraken, when it summons out the Kraken spawn, can attach Toad, so when that dies you get another add. So it really sort of helps you maintain advantage. The deck won't really work when this gets banned, so have your fun when you can. 3 copies of Bahamut. This card's insane. Oftentimes you could make triple Toad in this deck, but you'd rather make other forms of interruptions. This is for like, you know, turn 2 or whatever. You wouldn't typically make 3 Bahamut going first. But the thing that you can do is you can overlay these 2, and then you can make the Utopic Draco Future. So you get the 2 Bahamuts and you get an extra, like a monster negate, so that's really good. Got the 1 Abyss Dweller. This card comes up a lot. If you are trying to make a really strong first turn board, instead of having like 3 Toad, you'd rather have 2 Toad and a Dweller, because it just locks out your opponent from an entire mechanic, so you're not 1 for 1 in them. It's just that they can't play this type of card. So that's really good, especially if you know what your opponent's playing. 1 Dweller. 2 copies of Stealth Kraken. I think this card's insane. It doesn't even target with its destruction. It makes everything water. It quick effect destroys waters, and basically locks them into Gozen Match. When it dies, it floats into the Stealth Kraken spawn, which is a much worse version of it. So it can destroy waters, but it doesn't make them water, so that's a shame. When this dies, it floats back into the other Kraken, so I think that's kind of cool. Just a small engine there. Got the Drill Driver Vespinato. This fixes bad hands. Sometimes you can't make it anymore because of the new Abyss Shark, but if you've got Abyss Shark, then you won't have a bad hand, is my theory. So basically, you can make a Bahamut, and then you put this on top of the Bahamut, and then you can detach 2, because now the Bahamut's a material to summon the Xyz Remora from hand, which would then summon the 2 fish you used to make the original Bahamut. So it's kind of cool, helps you get like a Toad plus something else, rather than just a Toad if you do open like a sort of bricky hand. F0 and F0 again. Literally just put this on top of the 2 Bahamuts, you put this on top of that. So it takes up a fair amount of space, and you can't make it under certain stuff, like if you've used the Abyss Shark. But sometimes you just open an insanely strong hand, and I do think this card is still worth playing. I've done a lot of testing with the deck, and so far you can still make it a fair amount. I don't think there's anything I'd rather play instead, like the Crooked Cook, for example, is a bit gimmicky, so I'd rather just play this. It does come up sometimes. And then lastly, got last XYZ, is the Zeus. Insanely strong card, can't believe they printed this. In like a simplified game state, you know, if you've not got a Gozen Match, you can just make this, and then you can just win the game, essentially. Really cool. And then lastly, got the 1 copy of Rare Fish. The fact it's also a fish does come up, because you can also reborn it off the Xyz Remora, because it was properly fusion summoned. You can make any of your material. You can make the Bahamut or the Kraken, so it's really good for that. Also, it's just a good free extender. Make sure you use your instant fusion before the Buzzsaw Shark, because that does lock you into XYZs. So just try and do this straight away pretty much. I tend to go 10 first, then this, then I'd just make a Bahamut straight away, so that I can play around the Nibiru, for example. So just the 1 copy of that. So this has been my Shark deck profile. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I'm not going to do a side deck because I haven't taken this deck to an event yet, so I don't see the point in saying what I could potentially side. So I think it's a really strong pick, especially for going first, but you know, obviously a side's there for going second. So please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.